How you doing? This is an appeal to all the people that were involved in that property tax campaign and to get involved in the water charge campaign. We're heading up to Dublin on the Saturday for the Right to Water demonstration, and we're getting it very, very hard to fill a bus from Kildare. It's unbelievable the fact that 70% of the people that were signing up for the bus are women, no men. It seems the men are more interested in soccer matches and going to the pub and backing horses and things like that, and they're not interested in what's going on in the country with the welfare of their families and what's happening to them, what's happening to their homes, with the privatisation of the water system, the bills that are going to be coming in for them and their families, and what is something that is a right. And it's a sad thing to see that women can recognise this fact and men can't. As I said, it's also sad to see that people that were involved in the household tax campaign and the property tax campaign were so disillusioned by being misled by the politicians that were involved in the household tax campaign. I remember being at the meeting that opened my eyes to what way the campaign was being led, just prior to Christmas 2012, where the ordinary people wanted to get out in the streets, block the streets. They wanted to block the ports, they wanted to block the M50, they wanted to block the port tunnel, and it was the politicians who didn't want this. They said it couldn't be done, we couldn't go down that route, and anytime nothing like that was suggested, they didn't want this. It was their way, and the campaign was running for to suit them, their benefit. And the politicians that were supporting all that, if these are involved with this campaign, it's going to go down the same route. It's going to go down. It's going to end up the same thing, nowhere. So whatever this is to be done, if we have to be serious, it's like the people in Hong Kong. You can see they're serious. They don't go out to march down a designated route set out by the authorities on a designated day to listen to speakers who are highly paid, part of the system, that are keeping you down. Well spoken words and probably well meaning words from people, but at the end of the day they're so well paid, whatever, it won't affect them. So something has to happen, something has to be different on Saturday, and if we are serious about this, we have to do something different. Whether that's, I'm not advocating nothing violent, I'm not saying that, but if it means walking down a different avenue, if it means staying overnight, if that's what it has to take, but something has to happen. It's either this, because I've said this before, and I'm saying it now, if this goes down the same route, or even seems to be heading down the same route as the household tax campaign, we're never going to win. And this will be my last time to do anything anyway, because what's the point in the likes of the same few people struggling when the rest of the country doesn't care, and they know what they're at? Why do you think they announced the water charges to begin on the 1st of October, when the only thing that went against the government this time was good weather? They thought it would be freezing, they thought we'd have bad weather and it would put the people off. That's what they thought, and that's why one year it was one of the charges didn't come in. It was they didn't introduce it until the 6 monthly charge, because they had the presidency of the EU Commission, and Angela Merkel and all them were over, and they didn't introduce it until they were gone, until the EU presidency was handed over. And that was to keep, and the household tax campaign played right into their hands. There was no demonstrations held during that. There was one demonstration held up to Dublin Castle during that time, and that was it. But that was the time to strike, but they didn't do it. They played right into their hands, and then they introduced the charge, the property tax, after the 6 months was up, and then it kicked in. And this is the same with this. They don't do anything. These dates aren't picked off the top of their head. It's picked for a reason, and the reason is the 1st of October. They thought the winter would be in, and people wouldn't be less likely to be out on the streets demonstrating, and that's to make you less aware and suffer more. And that's why it was picked. It wasn't picked in the middle of June of a balmy day, no. So if you're serious about not letting the water be privatised and your family suffering, because I would say that piece of information that's doing the rounds on Facebook about the Troika EU demand that if the money doesn't come from the water, that it'll have to come from the politicians' pay and perks. I'd say that's right. I'd say that could be hitting home, and that's why they're determined to drive this home to get the water money. So that's why I'm up for this anyway, and that's why I'm putting in an appeal for men. Why aren't you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Taking care of your families, taking care of your homes, and don't forget, it's a peaceful protest, and it is, after all, a civic duty to stand up to traitors, which is what they are. They're not acting. We're an Irish nation, and they're acting in the interest of EU people, EU bondholders, and anybody else and everybody else, not the interest of the Irish people. So it is our duty to defend our homes and our country, and that's why we should be up there, and we should be doing more. And it shouldn't. And why are we leaving it? Why are the men of Ireland sitting in the pubs watching football matches, leaving it to the women of Ireland? So I'm putting it up to the men, or anyone that wants to see this. Why are you leaving it to your wives and your daughters to go out and do the fighting for you? You'll sit in the pubs and you'll talk about it, but you won't go out and do what the men of Ireland are supposed to do. So anybody, the buses are leaving Rathhangan, Kildare and Newbridge on Saturday for roughly around €8 to €10 a seat. I hope to see you all up there. Thank you.